PFF has the Chicago Bears listed as the most likely landing spot for Derrick Henry. Question on the table today: should the Chicago Bears trade for Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans? And also, are we building the Chicago Titans over here? What's going on? We'll talk about some of the signings that the Bears have made as well. All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Now, this one's tough. This one's tough for me, right? Because y'all know my stance on running backs. If you've been watching this channel for any time, if you haven't been watching this channel for any time, I'm one of the people that was like, it's sad to see David Montgomery go. Appreciate you for everything you've done. I'm not paying a running back $6 million a year. But there are a select group of running backs that are different. There are a select group, probably about 4 or 5 running backs in NFL history that I do look at, and I would say that is a player that you are willing to pay. That is a player that I am willing to make a move for. Derrick Henry is on that list. My list, of course: Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Derrick Henry, and Adrian Peterson. That's about it. Those are the only players probably in NFL history at the running back position that I'd go out there and be like, hey, yes, give him lots of money because he can win games by himself. But the question on the table today is based on the fact that PFF has the Chicago Bears slated as the most ideal fit. They actually put the best fit for Derrick Henry to go to. Of course, right, we know pairing him in a backfield with Justin Fields, how that would work out and what he would be able to do. First off, the misdirection that would be able to happen in that backfield there, right, with the fact that now Justin Fields has offensive weapons in DJ Moore, Chase Claypool, Cole Kmet, Robert Tonyan, right? These weapons are there. So your threat is now, oh, he might actually be able to pass the ball. Also, let me turn this mug around, maybe hand it off to one of the best running backs in NFL history. Also, I can take off and run it myself. So the scheme itself would be ideal to look at. It would cause some issues for sure for teams going out there. But you also have to look at the fact of the money that comes attached with Derrick Henry, and you have to ask, is the juice worth the squeeze? And what's it going to cost, right? Because this is kind of a twofold thing for me, as many things are. I try to look at them from different perspectives. On the one hand, right, we have to be realistic. You're not a running back away. Now, are you a Derrick Henry away? That's a different question, but you're not a running back away, in my opinion. And if you think that you're a running back away, I question what you're seeing on the field and the additions that the Bears have made. And if you're overvaluing some of those additions, right? I love the addition of Nate Davis. We need more offensive linemen. Unfortunately, we're probably just going to address that in the draft. Like, it's not a bad thing, I guess, right? Like, you have the opportunity to. I just didn't want a rookie blocking for Justin Fields this season. You still need a 3 technique on the defensive end. There's still a ton of pieces you got to go get on that defensive line. Your trenches aren't solidified to me. And so I'm looking at this and saying, yeah, you can put, you add Derrick Henry, you could put a really, really nice team together. But also, how's that going to work if there's nobody in the backfield? Now, with that being said, you also have to weigh the fact that Derrick Henry averaged about 3.7 yards per carry after contact. So he's also getting 4 yards a carry just about, even if he's getting hit right at the line. But you have to hope that he's only getting hit right at the line. Now, the Bears weren't a terrible run blocking defense last year. It's actually one of the schemes that they were pretty good at. But I think you also have to look at the fact that you don't have a lot of depth there, and you don't have a lot of health there, basing it off of last season, right? You had a ton of guys that were in and out of that lineup: Lucas Patrick, Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borom, right? Guys that you were supposed to be counting on that weren't in that lineup. So you also have to weigh the fact of, okay, where's he going to be getting hit? Derrick Henry's a monster, right? He's not the unstoppable beast that maybe he once was, right? We're starting to see some chinks in the armor just a little bit. Now, I can't even say unstoppable beast. He's still pretty unstoppable. I'm not gonna lie to you. And that's the hard part about this, right? But you also have to weigh what that number is, how much money is coming attached to Derrick Henry, right? 16 million against the dead cap this season, basically paying him out about 10.5 million. Is that worth adding to your team plus the trade? Now, the Bears do still have money to move. They do still have to spend, I believe, another 20 or 30 million dollars to get in that, or to get to that where they can roll the money over into next season. But they did eat into that a little bit by signing Dylan Cole. I'm trying to see what I know it's a 1-year contract. I didn't see what the money attached to that deal was, but I did see that it's a 1-year contract. Somebody dropped the contract details on Bears signing linebacker Dylan Cole. So they eat into that a little bit, but right, like not enough. So you might still be able to see this move get made. Now, here's the thing. Do I want to see the move get made as a Bears fan? Yes. Yeah. King Henry in the backfield? Sure. But it also is about what it's going to cost. I want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down to talk with you as well. What do you feel like the Bears should do? Should they trade for Derrick Henry? Let me know down there, man. Like I said, it's going to depend on what it's going to cost. I'll be down in the comments with you as well, by the way. To me, if you get to a point where this thing is starting to get long in the tooth, where, hey, we're looking to trade Derrick Henry. We're trying to move on from Derrick Henry. We're done with him. We want a 2nd-round pick. Every team in the NFL probably. No. He's got 16 million against the cap. We want a 3rd-round pick. No. We want a 4th-round pick. I'm listening. Right? So it's all about what it's going to cost to get Derrick Henry out of there. It's all about, and the Bears are kind of in an interesting situation because you feel like they've solidified their backfield by going cheap. And again, that's the way to go. I understand that's the way to go. You want to go cheap with your backfield. You want to have as minimal money in the backfield as you can. And so it's probably the reason that I think this is the most unlikely to happen. I don't see this trade happening. It depends on what it'll cost, but even just the money attached to Derrick Henry, and again, he's one of the running backs that I would pay in history, but the money that is attached to Derrick Henry, you also have to look at that and say, okay, is this worth it for just this season? Is it worth it to give this possible pickup, a 4th-round pick, a 5th-round pick that could be worth something high for just this season? Or do you feel like you're going to be paying Derrick Henry moving forward? Now, he's only 28 years old. He's been, for the most part, pretty durable throughout the season. I believe he only played, 10 games, 11 games last season, still put up almost 1,500 yards. He's a monster. So you feel like if you have him in your backfield, you're definitely moving in the right direction. You also have a new president of football operations and Kevin Warren, who is from an organization that had one of the best running backs in NFL history, right? So he might feel like he's and not to say he's jumping in and getting all involved in what Ryan Poles is doing, but he might feel like, hey, this is a guy that we definitely need to be taking a look at and maybe have a conversation on bringing him in. But you also, to me, it's just about what's realistic with this Bears team. And I just don't feel like this is a realistic deal the Bears are going to get done because of how Ryan Poles has built this team, because of the process of how Ryan Poles is going through constructing this Bears team. I just feel like, right, like he's not going to derail that to bring Derrick Henry in. Now, do you have the flip side of all of this? And again, I'm trying to give both sides of the argument. The flip side of all of this is you do have to spend the money. And if you don't feel like there's anything major in free agency, getting Derrick Henry in here for 1 year would not derail you. But again, it depends on what it's going to cost you. It depends on what you're going to have to give up moving forward, right? If I'm giving up a 5th and a 5th and a 6th or something like that, one from this year, one from next year, right? Like that's not something that I see the Bears not being able to get back. But are you missing out on a potential impact player that could be a long-term player? Remember, they feel good about Braxton Jones. He was taken in the 5th round last season, right? So you also have to weigh all those things out. Are you going to pay Derrick Henry moving forward, right? Like I think the one thing that maybe gets you a little bit looking at it, right, and being like, okay, that's not as bad as I thought, is the fact that You would have to re-sign Derrick Henry. Maybe he comes in a little bit lower number now, unless somebody's going to give him the bag, which, by the way, 29-year-old running back might be a little bit harder for him to get the bag at that point, even with how unstoppable he is. So maybe you can negotiate something there. But I just don't, I don't know, man. Like that, I am really in between a rock and a hard place with this one. Should the Bears do it? Logically. Let's do logically, and then we'll do the me. Logically, no. You're not a running back away. You could spend that money on weapons elsewhere that I believe could make an impact on this team when we're talking about second tier and third tier players. It doesn't seem that the Bears want to do that. They do continue to sign 28 and 20 and 27-year-old, basically role players on some of these teams, right, that are coming in outside of like Tremaine Edmonds and stuff like that are coming in and looking for a bigger role with a team, and hopefully are going to be able to land a bigger role with the Chicago Bears team here. But we're not going out there and breaking the bank on some of these huge names. You do still need some guys that can get through the middle. But the question is, are you going to find that guys? Do you want to go with a bunch of guys, right? A bunch of guys that fill positions, or do you want to go with one impact player? Logically, you want to go with a bunch of guys that fill positions. You want to know why? Because we got a lot of holes on this team, and you're setting yourself up right now to basically come back and have another season of second and first year players taking a good chunk of your snaps on your football team. And while that's exciting, right, because we're trying to rebuild this thing young, I don't know how well that plays for Justin Fields. Now, the good thing is your weapons on offense aren't second and third year players. They are players who are experienced veterans who have been in the league for a while and know their way around the football field. So I'm excited about that for the Chicago Bears as well. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. What are your thoughts on Derrick Henry being traded to the Chicago Bears? Are you there? Oh, I got to give my side, right? The fan point of view, right? Bears fan, Derrick Henry fan, one of the few running backs in history I'd pay. This is a no-brainer. As a fan, just the fan aspect of this is a no-brainer to me. I just said one of the best running backs in history. I look at guys like this and everybody's like, well, he's a running back, so he's going to break down. And I'm like, yeah, he might, but also he could just be Adrian Peterson, who every time you were like, yep, he's going to break down, he didn't. You know what I mean? AP didn't start breaking down until it legit was like, hey, man, like, what are you doing in Washington right now? And even then, he was just like, I'm still putting up 80, 90 yards a game. That's all I'm doing out there. You know what I mean? So, like, it's a rock and a hard place spot for me. Like, I love how Derrick Henry runs. I love that he's a unicorn of a monster at the running back position and that no one can figure out how to slow him down or stop him. I love the potential of what it could be in the backfield with Justin Fields. I love the potential of how this Bears, I mean, there is something to be said about loading up offensively if you don't have the offensive line that you feel as strong about, right? If you have a 15 offensive line, but you have top 5 weapons, you can do some things if your quarterback is special enough. I guess it also depends on how special you feel Justin Fields is. I feel like Justin Fields is pretty special. So for me, I look at it in that sense. And as a fan, I would love to see Derrick Henry on the Bears. Logically, understanding what it is, it's probably not going to happen. It's more than likely not going to happen. Plus, you've solidified your running back room with Deontay Foreman. Travis Homer is an interesting one to say, just because we signed him, though, and Khalil Herbert is already there, who put up, 713 yards, being the number 2 behind David Montgomery. So hopefully we see the Bears stick with that logically. Go trade for Derrick Henry as a Bears fan. But logically, hopefully we see the Bears stick with that. Keep the running back room money low. You have to. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below, man. I'll be down there talking with you as well. Like I said before, also, Bears signed Dylan Cole, another Tennessee Titan. Depth move, another guy, right? He's appeared in 61 games. He's got 9 starts through his 6-year career. Spent his first 4 years with the Texans. Actually had a pretty decent career with the Texans, right? With his time with the Texans, compiled 67 tackles. That'd be crazy. 67 sacks, 67 tackles, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 5 tackles for loss, and a fumble recovery. He had he is one of the first He is the first rookie ever to record at least 5 total tackles, a sack, an interception, return for a touchdown in a single game, doing it against the Tennessee Titans, which actually is pretty interesting. He's a guy, good rotation piece, good depth piece. We need depth at that linebacker position. It's something we didn't have last year, and you didn't feel great about going into last year. I feel like the Bears are addressing some of the things that we didn't feel great about going into last year. I feel better about it coming into this season. So hopefully that continues. Let me know as well how you guys feel about the Bears going out and signing Dylan Cole. Hey man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love to the channel. As always, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. To continue watching our Chicago Bears content, click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Hey, yo, Chicago! Bear down, man. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.